starting a riding club. Why?
First off, I got a tattoo. Apparently, thanks.
I heard about this today. Have you heard about it? There's a tattoo. Real or...
It's fake, but there are a few doing the real ones.
Are there really?
Yes.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
I've been thinking, I can't run this club forever.
I have to quickly start out with Austin. His grandfather, his grandmother, his dad live in Arizona, and you grew up riding on the back of your dad's bike?
Yeah, we'd ridden all the way to Arizona on a bike, my dad and I. I have so many fond memories of that.
With a helmet, I hope.
Yeah, with the helmet.
Okay.
With the helmet.
Just
at
checking.
that time. Yeah.
Obviously, this is all about being cool, and I don't know if anyone looks cooler on a bike than you.
Yeah.
What would your friends say is the most uncool thing about you?
Great.
You're gonna expose yourself now.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that's cheesy and not
Oh,
real
there's
cool.
tons of uncool things about me. I think, most of me is uncool, I would say.
What would they say, though? What do they give you a hard
You
time
have to
for?
ask them. I don't know. What do you say?
What do you say?
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen your uncool
Really?
side. Yeah. I don't think I've seen it.
I feel like I'm a goof.
You got a great you got a silly, well, I also have a silly
I can
sense
be
of
really
humor.
silly.
Yeah.
When was the last time you felt like you didn't belong? Because I think one of the most beautiful scenes is actually Michael Shannon's, when you just feel the heartbreak of him.
How great is that scene?
Not even, oh, it was just wonderful. And everybody else kind of nodding as if I get it. When was the last time each of you felt like you didn't belong? Has it been a while?
This morning, showing up here.
I think you always have moments of feeling like a slight imposter or having to like talk yourself into going, no, I'm here because I deserve to be, or that I worked hard to be here. I definitely have a lot of moments of them of feeling intimidated or like, oh, this, things feeling quite kind of strange in that way.
No, I mean, honestly, getting here and starting to do interviews this morning.
I'm not in my element.
Yeah.
You see that? They're planning something. Look at all of them whispering over there.
So many people are talking about your performance, and obviously the
How great is
accent. Oh my gosh, beyond. And when you hear the real recordings, I hope they release those because it is so dead on. But as great as the accent is, I was mesmerized by what you did with your eyes. So I'm curious, with as much work as you did on The Voice, how much work did you put into the mannerisms and just the eyes? It's almost like you're looking through people at one point.
Do you know what? I don't know. I try not to be aware of like what I'm doing in a sense with my face anyway. I'm just gonna go with it, and whatever it looks like, for better or for worse. But to me, through the recordings that I had of her, she was incredibly expressive. So that was something I definitely wanted to kind of capture.
Yeah.
But she's very observant as well. She is a vandal through her, her marriage to Benny. So she's a part of the group, but is still very much on the kind of periphery and is able to have a different kind of perspective, which I think is why Jeff wanted her to be the narrator of the movie. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
But thank you.
My husband rides, and I am on the back, but we've got the windshield and the cushy seats, and I can put stuff in the back of his jacket, and I feel like I just need a
Does
beer
he have
koozie.
pockets in the back of the jacket for you?
Yes, which is amazing because I
Like
have
a cup holder?
cell phone, a guidebook. But
That's
I was
cool.
nervous with these vintage bikes. Were you nervous being on those?
It's definitely an adjustment because the brakes don't work very well.
Oh
the
my
clutch
gosh.
is very finicky. And, it takes some getting used to, for sure.
Well, you made it look cool.
But-
I've just realised, have you ever been to a Tracy Anderson class? That was the last time I felt like I don't
What's
belong.
Tracy Anderson?
The
Oh,
arms,
oh
oh my
my
gosh,
God.
the arms, the
Really?
she's
It is
unbelievable.
no joke.
What is
I've never
that?
been back.
You
It's
just
like a
came up with that
Pilates?
while he was talking about being on the bike.
I was like, no, it came back into my body. I felt it, and I was like, oh my God, that time when I was at the Tracy Anderson class.
Your arms do look good, so it's working.
Yeah, you and me, kid.
Is this basically just a message to your wife to let you start riding again? This whole movie.
No, I actually learned to ride while I was writing the script because I didn't grow up riding, so I didn't want to be a complete fraud. So I got my license while I was writing the screenplay.
Yeah, but I read obviously now you're a dad and you're married and,
Yes.
and things have changed a little bit. Will you ever go back to riding?
Yeah, I think so. I actually have 2 small bikes now, but the big bikes scare me. All bikes kind of scare me, to be honest, but I think that's a healthy fear to have.
I ride on the back. My husband rides.
Oh, okay.
And we have the nice windshield and the comfy seat in the back. What scares me are these actual vintage bikes that you use.
For sure.
What was the scariest part of getting all of these vintage bikes together and having a group of guys with no helmets riding down the highway?
At speed. It was terrifying, honestly, as the director who's in charge of these people. And it's my idea. Hey, why don't we all get on these bikes and do this 1960s biker film without helmets? That's my idea. So it was nerve-wracking, but we had incredible people working with us. A guy named Jeff Milburn was our co-stunt coordinator. He trained the actors on the bikes. But the bikes they're nearly impossible, you know? They don't have disc brakes. They don't have snapback throttles. One bike would just catch fire every time you started it. And they said, well, that's just how that one works. So, you know, it was really terrifying. But everybody was focused, and everybody really, they wanted to be on the bikes. They knew how important that was to this film.
I don't know if there's anybody who looks better on a bike than Austin Butler. I mean, they're all great actors. They all look good, but there is something about him on a bike.
The moment I knew Austin Butler was probably the coolest guy is when, you know, it took a little while to get trained on these older bikes, is when he took his hand off and he put it on his thigh, which is that's a cool move.
Yeah, that's a cool
move. One that I wouldn't have done.
I'm Johnny. We're the bad ones.
Why does Tom Hardy scare the crap out of me?
Because he scares the crap out of everyone.
Okay.
That's what he's designed to do.
But he's a nice guy.
Oh, I love Tom.
Okay.
Tom is an intense human being, though, you know. But I've worked with intense actors before, Michael Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I describe Tom is that he's not just an actor. He's a force of nature. He vibrates with intensity. And so you have to be on your toes when you're directing Tom Hardy. But the benefits of working with him, every time that camera lands on him, there's energy there. It's actually unfair to normal human beings.
Speaking of vibration, I know you just wrapped me, but hopefully people are going to see this obviously on a big screen, preferably a Harkins. And I showed you the picture of Red Harkins, the founder of the whole chain, who rode in on his motorcycle. How do you accomplish the vibration we felt yesterday seeing this in a theater?
Honestly, I have to give credit to Will Files, my sound designer. When you're standing in a pack of 40 motorcycles, especially period Harleys, it is unlike anything I've ever experienced. And the fact that we were able to build that into, you know, the soundtrack, we made room for the music, we made room for the dialogue, but you have to be in a theater, and you have to be moved by the vibrations of these bikes. We put it there, so you got to show up and feel it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And look for this move where he just puts it right there. Just rests it.
Some people would rather crash than slow down.